Hello everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video I'm going to show you how to write the JavaScript for our Magic 8-Ball game. This is an example of what the Magic 8-Ball will look like. For now, nothing happens because we haven't written the JavaScript. I am not going to show you the CSS. I'm going to let you figure that out on your own, but I will show you one thing with images here. So I've created a folder in my files section called images, and I've put my images inside of that folder. So 1 is the regular 8-ball image, 2 is yes, 3 is no, 4 is ask again later, 5 is the answer is yes, and 6 is I have no idea. So all of these images are in this folder, and essentially what I want to do is whenever the user types their question here and clicks this button, I want to replace this image with one of these. That's it. That's the Magic 8-Ball project, okay? So let's get into the script for this project. Let's get into what we need to do to make this actually work, okay? So I'll squeeze this over just a bit. There we go. Alrighty, so for the JavaScript for this, we need a reference to a couple of items on our HTML page. So first we need a reference to the 8-ball image. So if we look here, let me squish this out of the way. Right here is our image element. Now we're accessing the source by typing images/1.png. So we're going into the images folder, 1.png. We've given it an ID of 8-ball. The other thing that we need a reference to is the question. Okay. Now, actually, we might even don't need the question ID, but because we don't really care what their question is, much like in a Magic 8-Ball in real life, it doesn't actually have any magical powers to answer your question. We don't really care what the question is. But we're going to use this to pop up an alert if they haven't entered a question. It's just kind of like a small gee whiz thing that we can use an if statement for. So we'll give that an ID as well. Okay. All right. And then we just have a button that runs the ask question function whenever we click the button. Okay. So let's go back to our script. So first, let's create our references. We'll create an image. Yeah, let's call it ball image. Document.get element by ID. And the ID is going to be 8-ball. Okay. Let's create a reference to the question. All right. Document.get element by ID. Question. Okay. Oh, hello. So those are our references. Now let's create our function that's going to run whenever we click the button. So we'll say function ask question. Oh, what is going on today? There we go. Function ask question. So what we're going to do first is if we don't have anything inside this question box, then what we can do is we can say if question.value equals nothing. Oh, this is not, okay. There we go. I want it outside the parentheses. There we go. If question.value equals nothing, then we're going to use this alert function. An alert will just pop up a message on your screen. And the message will be, you must ask a question. Let's go ahead and test that out real quick. So I'll run. I'm going to shake the 8-ball. Oh, and I get an alert. You must ask a question. Okay. So that's basically going to tell us, hey, you have to ask a question. You have to type something in here in order for the program to work properly. Okay, so now let's talk about how to create our program. So what we need is we need an array, and inside the array, each index is going to be another one of these images. We can store um, uh, well, we're not really going to store the images. What we're going to do is we're going to store some text that references the file name of the image, and then we're going to use that to change the source attribute of our ball image, our image element, right? So it's going to be text, but the text is going to be references to the file names. So let's say and we're going to just call this options, because these are the options we have available to us. Options, and we're just going to go through and create a reference to each one of these. So images is the folder that it's in, /1.png. Oh, images /2.png, and so on and so forth. So I'm actually going to just copy and paste. Copy. Oh, I need a comma there. One, two, three, four, five. And I have 1, 2, no, well, actually, I don't want, so I only want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay. We actually don't want 1 to be one of our random images because 1 is this thing. We want it just to be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there we go. So we now have an array called options that has some text that references these 5 images here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So these 5 images. Now what we can do is we can use a random generator to generate a number from 0 to 5. And that's going to allow us to choose one of these indexes. Because, for example, this index right here is index 0. So if we say options 0, we're going to get images /2.png. That's the text we're going to get. If we get, options 3, then we'll get this here, images /5, right? So we're going to use a random number generator to generate a random number between 0 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, between 0 and 4, or we'll use the options.length option so that we can get the final option in the array. Okay, so let's do let index equal math.floor. We've used this before. Math.random. And we'll multiply that by options.length. That way we're getting the length of the array, options.length. Okay, perfect. And the only thing we have to do is just update this image with with our random image that we got from the array. So we'll say ball image dot src equals options index. Oh, hello. Alrighty. Now, I'm just going through the logic here. Options.length 5. This might need to be options.length -1. We might actually get an error here, but let's go ahead and try. Let's see. I'm going to, will I ever be married? Shake the 8 ball. I have no idea. Yes. Ask again later. Ask again later. Yes. Ask again later. I have no idea. The answer is yes. No. So I think we're getting all of our options. Let's see what 6 is. I have no idea. We've gotten I have no idea. Yeah, so we know we can hit the end of our array. We know we can hit the front of our array. I think we've hit all of these options. So, and we're not getting any errors with our image. We're not grabbing images that don't exist. So that is essentially our project. That's how this game works. Okay, I'll just explain this part one more time because this might be a bit confusing. So we have an array called options, and in each index in the array, we have some text that we can use to replace this source property in our image element. So we can replace this text with this, or this, right? And all that's doing is changing which image is being displayed on the page, right? Now, to get a random index in here, we're using math.floor, math.random, multiplied by the length of our options array. Let's delete that comma. So multiplied by the length of our options array, which means we are going to basically start from 0 and go to the length of the array. If we have any, so that'll be basically our range is whatever's inside this array, okay? Then we're going to replace the source of the ball image, which again is this image element right here. We're replacing the source text with whatever is in the options array, and whatever index is the random index number that we used or that we got from the random number generator, right? So this is a random number. So index is a random number. That random number is going to be the random index that we get from our options. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And essentially that's how our game works. Cool. Alrighty, well, that's pretty much the whole project. You can spend some time making it look better, add a header, add some more stuff to it. If you want, you can replace these images with your own images, whatever you want. You can add more of them. It really doesn't matter. Just have fun with this project. This is, a quick one, and it's an easy one, but it helps us to learn a very critical concept that we're going to need for some projects going forward. All right, thanks for paying attention. I'll see you next time.